Welcome back.
Welcome back indeed. But we got to have a little bit more energy than that, right?
Welcome back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, and yes, you as well. That football jersey looks great on you. Welcome back to the Binc Film Podcast. I am no longer a guest. I'm assuming the title is co-host. It's happening right now live as we're in this basement.
I don't make anything official.
Okay. Soon to be co-host, Joshua Rivers. Across from me, as always, Eric Gordonberg, the EGB. And today, we've got a lot of topics to get in front of you guys, so let's get started. We're going to cover a wide swath of topics. Not very wide. It's just going to be a couple things. We're going to be talking about The Blind Side and a little bit of spiciness happening there.
You might say that topic kind of blindsided everyone.
I knew that was coming.
I had to.
I really trusted you to not do it, and you did it.
It's not because I thought it was funny. It's because I didn't have anything else to say. And
Viewer count just nosedives right there at that point in the video.
They spiked. And if you thought that was funny, then you should just comment on it.
You know what? Yeah.
Just say Josh sucks. And then...
So we're going to... Don't do that. I take it very personal. I don't. We're going to cover the Blind Side controversy, what's going on with that, sports movies in general. We're going to talk about the highs and lows of sports movies, the good ones, the bad ones, just because that piqued our interest. But before we get into all of that, I wanted to do a couple things. We're going to talk about two things. The first thing we're going to discuss is by the time this episode comes out, the trailer for the new Binc short film, Charlotte, is already going to be released. And I encourage all of you listening and watching to take a moment, find us on our social pages, find us on YouTube, and take a look at that trailer. A lot of time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, and energy has gone into this, and I really think you guys will appreciate it. I really think that there's going to be a lot there for everybody to enjoy. It's a very powerful film. It has been the pride and joy of this short film company for the past, I mean, how long have you guys been working on this? It's been a while.
We started filming last fall.
There you go. So a lot of effort. We're coming up on a year that they've been putting into this, and some people are going to come back and say, well, such and such was in production for 5 or 6 years, and that's got a crew of hundreds or thousands with budgets of millions, and this is a couple of dudes and a camera and a dream. And that's what this is all about, right? But we're getting off topic. So do yourself a favor. Find the trailer, give it a watch, let us know what you think. Constructive criticism, tearing us to pieces. If your comments don't move us to tears one way or the other, you're not doing it right. So rip it apart, hype it up, do what you got to do, but give it a watch. The other thing we're going to talk about is a two-parter. Number one, I promised I was going to try and stop cussing when we're on podcast because I know that gets us removed from a certain audience, but me and Michael have had a conversation that's upset me. I love wearing shirts that are almost pop culture-y or things that are meant to, I don't know, just look cool. So like that's why the Ed, Ed and Eddie t-shirt in the first couple episodes. I had the Val's Hamburgers t-shirt, which is for those of you local, you know what that is, little hamburger joint that's in our hometown. And Michael's like, we're going to get sued if you keep wearing shirts with brands on them. So today I wore a shirt that is a mockery of the Supreme clothing brand, and it has the words Crunchwrap above it. And I'm real tired of the fact that this is going to be the last time you see me in a name brand, not even a name brand. This is going to be the last time you see me in a shirt like this because it's not right and we might get sued and it's dangerous and it pisses me off because all I'm trying to do is wear something cool. I think this is cool. And if you made this, you should go, wow, that guy thinks it's cool. I'm not talking about anything crazy. There's no reason for people to go off. I get hyped up about this. You're smiling right now, but this is something that I'm just trying to promote your shit, dude. Like, that's all I'm doing. Like, the guys who made Ed and Eddie are going to be like, do you see that weirdo on the podcast is wearing our t-shirt again? We got to do something about this. That's not what I'm going for.
So, here's the deal, okay? It's not about what you're going for. So, give a little backstory. A while back, we started making movies.
Yes.
And my brother's like, make sure you don't wear any logos. And I'm like,
get out of here, dude.
Like you.
Get out of here.
I'm like, shut up.
Right.
Shut up. You got to move that logo out of the background. You know, things like that. And I'm just like, dude, no one's going to sue us, right?
Until they do.
So after a while,
Pause. I don't mean to cut you off. Does this have anything to do with why we were banned on Instagram?
No.
Okay, we'll cover that in another episode. Continue, please.
Okay, so finally I was just like, okay, I'm not going to wear logos anymore.
Okay.
And people would come and work on movies with us, and over again, I would see him just like, no logos, don't wear logos. And every single person makes the same face every time. And it's,
Get the fuck out of here.
it's, what do you know?
Right.
Okay. So ultimately, at the end of the day, if people want something from you, they're going to take it. So if you say something that's good or bad, let's say we'll do both versions. Say everyone listens to this podcast and you're wearing your
Crunchwrap Supreme shirt.
we'll just say Nike.
Okay.
You're wearing a Nike shirt. And Nike sees that and they're like, that's mine.
That's mine.
Give me money. Or alternative, couple episodes ago we talked about Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
And apparently everyone thinks that we're super far right now based on that.
Or the opposite,
Or the
based on
yeah.
the couple of comments that I
Either-
read.
It doesn't make any sense, but we're not going to get into that. Point is, with that mentality, if you are on there with your Nike shirt and you talk about, say, the Sound of Freedom, and then Nike sees that and they go, those people are spreading conspiracies with our logo. Shut them down. They can do that.
Pull the video.
They can do that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, while it is silly, and it probably won't happen, it's just not our risk to take.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. I understand it. Michael, I just wanted to give you shit. I apologize, man. That's first 5 minutes of this podcast are completely off topic. Okay, so what we said we were going to talk about is sports films, but we're going to lead off with the Blind Side and the problems that have been making themselves apparent here. So, have you seen the movie The Blind Side?
I have not.
I have, and it is a very okay film. I don't think it's bad. I mean, I'm not going to run out and tell everybody like, dude, you got to watch The Blind Side.
Didn't it win an Oscar?
Truthfully, I don't know.
I think it did.
I don't know, but it's an all right film. It's a very positive message. The gist of the film is a promising young athlete who lives in a troubled community and is essentially without a family, without a home, is taken in by these two wealthier people who are going to give him a home and bring him into their family and make sure that he's successful. And he goes on to be an outstanding high school football player, to be an outstanding college football player. He gets drafted in the NFL. His dreams are fulfilled. He becomes one of the better offensive linemen in the NFL. And I believe he's won a Super Bowl or two.
He did.
He did.
He was protecting Joe Flacco's blind side.
Thank you. So he was on that Falcons or Ravens Super Bowl team, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember where he went. I knew he'd been on a couple of teams, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think it was the Titans and the Panthers.
I will. Michael, can you look that up? Michael Orr, and just let us know what teams was on. So anywho, that's the gist of the film. The film comes out. Everybody's like, "Wow, how? What? The Ravens?
I think there was two other teams. I think it was Tennessee.
Drafted to the
I
Ravens.
think it was Tennessee and Carolina.
So we'll come back to that here in a second. So the gist of it is that movie comes out. Everybody's like, wow, what a feel-good story. And that's kind of the end of it. And then...
Does the movie cover like his NFL?
No,
No.
It basically ends at him getting drafted. He gets drafted. Their family is all happy and in tears. And do you have the other teams?
Yeah,
Ravens. Titans.
Carolina.
And Carolina. Those were the ones that he was on? Okay.
So we didn't get to see the reenactment of the power outage in the movie?
No, not at the Super Bowl, no. So that's the gist of it. That's the synopsis of the film, right? And if you haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert, but you know where that film's going from the moment it starts.
I had an opportunity to see that movie when I think it was high school. We would do this thing every Christmas. The school would have like the whole school would go to the movie theater. They'd rent out the movie theater, and you'd have like 3 movies you could watch.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. But I ended up seeing, I think it was I Am Legend
That's a decent film too.
or Night at the Museum.
Also decent.
I can't remember which one, but I saw that instead. And then
Yeah.
after that, I just kind of didn't. I mean, I wasn't super into football at that time either.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's so anyways, that's the gist of the film. Now the controversy is now all of a sudden he is suing his parents, his adoptive parents, or I don't even know if they're legally his parents, but he's suing the people who took him in, saying that they caused him to or tricked him or pressured him into signing over his rights to the money, essentially, or conservatorship, or
yes,
I can't remember the name.
that's what
of
it was.
Was conservatorship? Okay.
Yep.
And that they took all this money from the movie and they robbed him blind. He got nothing from it. And that was the take as of a couple days ago. And then this morning, there's a new take that I see, and it's their lawyer coming out going, Michael was given $100,000 for the movie, the same as everybody else. That's all anybody made from this film.
Who's the everybody else?
His parents.
So he got an equal share.
That's
as
what
his
the lawyer
parents?
says.
Why would he get an equal share?
Because that's what was agreed to at the time, I guess. So,
But I just feel like coming out and saying the same as everyone else is like, it was fair. But the movie's about him. He shouldn't get the
Right.
same as everybody else. He should get
I
more.
would tend to agree. I would tend to agree with you. The movie's about him and his life. He should definitely make more. Now, regardless, this guy's a millionaire. He played in the NFL for years. Like I said, he's got a couple Super Bowls to his ring. He's doing fine. At least he should be. But so that was the gist of the claims. Now, we're not going to know who's right or wrong in this for a while after this episode comes out, and I might mention it later. But that's the gist of it. So that's the ugly side of these feel-good stories is he's suing his family now to get more money, which leads me to believe maybe he's not doing so well with his money. Because if this guy was still sitting on like $30 million, like, would you make a fuss?
So if you had to take a bet, do you think that
Oof.
it's true?
Oof. Do I think it's true that they took money from him?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is the movie does this fantastic job of making these people out to be in an incredible light. Like, he would have been nothing if it weren't for them. And that's just not the case. He was a highly scouted prospect before they were even involved.
I heard that the movie also like changed a lot of his character, like who he was and how. Apparently the movie, again, I haven't seen it, so maybe you can, if you remember this.
It's been a few years, and by a few I mean probably a decade, but continue. I'll do my best.
Apparently they made him seem kind of like a bit of a doofus in the movie.
He's very simple.
And in reality, I guess he's like very smart and technical and like
Yeah.
going all in on football. And in the movie, apparently, it's kind of like one of these things where he's like, "Oh, I guess football."
Right.
You know?
It is kind of to a degree. I think people fail to understand how really intelligent you have to be to a degree to play professional football.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not an NFL player, but like I look at what these people have to learn and memorize and know before they go into a game each week, and it's a lot. And I know I don't retain information to that degree. It takes me a second. Like I have to read things over and over again. So I can't imagine, sitting down for a week going, watch all this film. This is what you got to go against next week. And it's another 300+ pound man who's going to kill you to get to your buddy over there, and you got to stop him.
I mean, at the same time, I'm not downplaying it like you did on a previous episode.
Okay.
But
That's fair.
you also have to consider that not only have these people been playing since they were children and slowly
Yeah, absolutely.
escalating levels of technicality, but when you're doing your day job, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're watching film, they're working out, they're studying essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's rare that that guys just kind of stumble into like professional football. Like, oh, turns out I'm good at professional football. I didn't know that till I was like 18 years old. No, you've been doing this for a hot second for the most part. There are guys that do that. I think a bigger example of
Johnny
that would be
Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel.
Did you watch that one?
I've watched parts of it.
I'm
I haven't
almost
seen the
finished
whole
with
thing.
it.
I need to watch the whole thing. It looks pretty good.
It's interesting because I thought that show, well, it's actually just a movie. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's a documentary, right?
Yeah. I thought that it would make you feel really bad for him.
No, it just confirms everything you already knew.
I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm at the point where he's about to get drafted. And at this point in the documentary, you're like, this guy hasn't changed at all.
None.
Because he's talking throughout it, recapping everything. And it seems like he's the same person that he was when he was in college.
I feel bad for him to a degree because he talks about the struggles that he goes through. And he talks about trying to take his own life, essentially.
Right.
And not essentially. I mean, that's what he talks about. And I feel bad for that because obviously you're going through it. But at the same time, I hear other stories about him where he's like, hey, it's your pro day. You need to show out because the draft is coming up. And he is shit-faced with all of his wide receivers. And none of his wide receivers show up. And they're like, where are the receivers?
I just
and it's
watched
like,
that part.
his buddy and his uncle are like catching passes for him. It's, what are you doing, bro?
That was kind of weird, though, because after I watched that scene, I looked up his pro day highlights, and there's all receivers there.
So I don't know what the story of that is. I remember watching that clip in the documentary where there were no receivers showed up. But you're right. You do watch
but then
his pro
it
day
shows, because I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that.
I wanted to see a dude who looked like me with a beard gut just
Yeah,
running 40 yards down the
trying to
field, catching a
catch-
cross route from Johnny Manziel.
Catching a rocket, going across the middle. Like, there's no way he's catching it. And I looked it up, and I mean, I only clicked on the first video, so it might be out there. But just looking, when I search Johnny Manziel Pro Day, it brings up actual receivers.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure.
It's a weird one, man, because all the talent was there, right? At least you think so. And I remember when he was the year that he was drafted was the year that the Vikings, spoiler alert, well, not even a spoiler alert, but just a heads up for everybody watching and listening, were big Vikings. I am a big Vikings fan. This podcast is headquartered in Minnesota. We live for pain when it comes to sports. We have not had a major sports championship in 32 years. The last one was the Minnesota Twins in 1991. Since then, skunked. The Lynx have been doing their thing, and more power to them. But for the big four, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, nothing for 32 years. So I remember that draft was the draft that the Vikings took Teddy Bridgewater. We took a couple of really good players that year. I think that was the year that we took Harrison Smith. I think that was the year that we took, or Harrison Smith might have been the year before. Either way, that was a strong draft for the Vikings, if memory serves correct. And we took Teddy Bridgewater. And everybody was so excited because Teddy was supposed to be this big thing coming out of college. And I remember, I think either he was on the board when Minnesota came up, or there was a talk about them potentially trading up. And I wanted us to get Manziel.
I kind of did too.
I really did. Everybody said, oh, well, he's cocky and he's arrogant. And I'm like, man, I want him because that guy wants to win. Look at that swagger. Like, he's got this, I'm the best and I know it. And sometimes that's what you need to succeed. Turns out he was just a douchebag. And I was way off base. This is why I don't do scouting for the NFL. I would be in over my head because I would see some guy walking around like he's got a 10-foot dick. And I'd be like, yeah, that guy. Nobody can beat that guy. And then he gets sacked one time and he's throwing iPads on the sideline. It's like, all right, well, I was wrong. Sorry, boss. I'll try again next year.
So what do you think is up with the uptick of sports-related documentaries and shows?
It's getting close to that time of year again.
But I feel like this didn't happen last year.
I mean, maybe not, but there's always an increased buzz around the NFL right now because this is when people are doing their fantasy drafts, and this is when people are...
Right, but this would have been put in... I mean, they started working on this last season.
Yeah.
So obviously they would try and time it, but I'm wondering if there's a recent, like people are looking at it as sort of an untapped market. Because
Potentially.
Did you notice, I think it was 2 years ago, in NFL games on, I I think Fox. It's Fox or CBS. Their game of the week. They use these weird camera angles with like these blurred lenses where like the entire backdrop is all blurry and it looks all cinematic.
Oh, it looks like
And
a
they-
Madden game.
Yeah, they bring
I know
it
what
down
you're
on
talking
the
about.
field. Somebody at some point must have just been like, it'd be really cool if it looked like a movie. And then they did it, and then they just kept doing it. And now they're making like all these movies and shows and everything about it. And it just makes me wonder if there's like some kind of behind the scenes thing going on where they're realizing like this is a totally untapped market.
I think they just know that there's money there, right? Sports films generate money. And on that topic, I kind of wanted to get into this. Do you watch a lot of sports movies? Or have you seen a lot of sports movies?
I really don't watch a lot of them.
Okay.
Ba-
Which ones have you seen? Which one stands out?
Based on this podcast, every episode we've done, people are going to think that I don't watch any movies because every time you bring something up, I say I haven't seen it. And as you know, I go to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Start naming some of the
We
big
should
ones.
throw that on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
I go to the movies a lot.
That's a good idea.
I think that'd be great.
That
we
would be
wouldn't
a good
sell
idea.
anything. Nobody's
Oh,
listening to this, but it would be
they're
kinda
listening.
cool.
They're gonna buy it. Go on the Binc Film Store right now. Link down below. Even if that shirt's not on there yet, there's other stuff.
It will be there. I promise. I'm in no position to be making promises. I am just a talking head in a chair for this company. That is it.
Okay, so start naming some of them.
Okay, so I'll just run through some of the ones that I really liked. Have you seen Friday Night Lights?
I saw it when it came out.
Yes.
And all I remember was somebody throwing a ring out of a car window,
It's Tim McGraw, dude.
and I think someone gets in a car accident, maybe.
There was no car accident, not to my memory.
That's
anyways.
the other movie. That's the Remember the Titans.
Yeah, well, which is another one I was going to bring up.
Yep.
So to take it from the top here, the Friday Night Lights film, I think that's a fantastic movie. I like films that show a sport being played, and it feels like that sport's actually being played, right? Which is hard to do, I think. I think it's hard to play a sport for a movie and sell that, like, it's real. We're not trying to rig. Like, it's rigged from the beginning because, somebody has to win. It's on a script. They're not writing the movie as, well, the red team scored, so let's adjust the script to, they're the good guys. Like, no, you're scripted. But if you can sell me that it's a real game, that's all the more powerful to me. And I thought Friday Night Lights did a really good job of that. Again, I never played organized football, but I bought that. I thought that was, okay, well, that's what organized football does look like to me.
Did
at
you
the
watch
time.
the TV show?
I did not. Not because I didn't like it, just because I didn't have access to television at that time. Did you watch it, Michael?
Yeah, I did.
Was it good?
It was fantastic.
Was it really?
Where can I watch that at?
It's very Netflix.
Netflix? It's on
It's
Netflix?
still on Netflix. It was on there.
Yeah, it used to be on Netflix for sure.
Well, I'm going to have to check it out now.
Fantastic, but it's very drama heavy.
Which is similar to the movie. The movie was very dramatic, too. There's,
Is it based on the movie?
I think, loosely.
I don't think so at all. I think it's just based on Texas high school.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Next time we do this, we should get a microphone set up over there.
We at least talk.
So if you chime in, you can just have,
Similar to the Joe Rogan experience when Jamie just chimes in at
Yeah.
me, or occasionally.
Jamie, was that based on the
Jamie,
movie?
pull that up. That's Michael right now. So I really enjoyed that one because of the drama in it, which he touched on for the show. Apparently it has it too, but the movie had the drama of that one fullback and his dad. His dad won state, and he wants his boy to win state, and he's a abusive drunk, just an asshole overall. And there's the Booby Miles storyline where he's got to go pro, right? That's all he knows how to do. He's not good in school. He's got to make it pro. He's got to make it big.
What do you think is the
Running back?
What?
Is he the running back?
Yeah, he's the running back.
Sounds like the show.
Okay.
What do you think is the best sports movie ever?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones. Remember the Titans is really good. Friday Night Lights is really good. But my personal favorite, just because I grew up in Minnesota and live in Minnesota, is Miracle.
Did you see Draft Day?
No,
I think
did
it's
not.
called.
Oh, is that the one about the Browns GM?
I think so.
I've watched a lot of TikToks on that. If it's the same one, it's got Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it good?
The clips I've watched on TikTok look great, and I'm not.
I never heard anything about
I
it
hate
after.
saying that too. I watched part of that movie on TikTok, and it looks really good. It's just the truth. It looked good from the little bits that I saw. So, but Miracle's my favorite. Did you see Miracle?
Yes, but again, that was back when it came out. That was a long time ago.
Oh, I love it. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. I went through a stretch there where my poor ex-wife, I would make her sit, like, we would watch Miracle like once a week.
That's the hockey one, right?
Yeah, it's about the 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team.
So the movie Miracle is what taught me that I hate when people clap at the movie theater.
Oh no!
And
You ran
I
into
was
a bunch of those
because that movie came out. What? Probably like 90.
No. I was in 7th grade when that movie came out, so it had to be 03, 04.
No way.
Yeah,
That late?
yeah. Jamie, pull that up. So
I
continue.
feel like it was late 90s.
No, it was early 2000s. I remember it vividly because I was one of those idiots in the movie theater that
Well, vividly isn't a very good, you know.
What years are we guessing?
he says late 90s. I said it was 2003.
I figured like 99.
2004. I'm going to go 2004 final answer.
It's 2004.
2004. Wow.
Yeah, I'm good.
So I remember sitting
He
in.
lost the last episode.
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't
What?
count. You're only as good as your last game.
He lost the horror guess.
Oh, right.
Only as good as your last game, and that's my last game. I won. Continue.
I was sitting in the back, and it's at the end where it's super intense,
Yeah.
and people were like standing up and clapping.
Yeah.
And I'm like really enjoying the movie, but even as a kid, I just look over there and it's, guys, this isn't happening live.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
I didn't know how the story ended. I wasn't alive.
I didn't either.
So I thought it was really interesting. It was really exciting. The movie still holds up today.
So
It's a good film.
as we kind of get towards the end here of this episode, I wanted to talk about an idea that I have for future episodes that we do.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I recently have been violently attacked on YouTube.
Oh boy.
Aggressive, hateful comments about
Oh,
things
no.
that I say, and I am just torn asunder. I go to bed at night and I see those words.
I've
And-
read these comments too.
and
Don't
it just-
feed the trolls.
It hurts. I can't help it. It hurts.
here we
It
go.
really, really gets to me. And in particular, someone said that I had a bozo take.
A bozo take?
So I was thinking that we could have a little, either a segment or a thing we could do
Okay.
where we could get one of those little clown noses, the red nose. You know,
This is a terrible idea.
just hear me out. I think people will agree this is a great idea.
It's a stupid idea. I know what comment you're talking about. This guy's going to hear this and he's going to be like, I fucking knew it.
That's fine.
They're
You
giving
know
me
what?
attention.
You know what? He's right. He's right.
What, we got bozo takes? I know that. I'm not doing this because I'm good at it. I'm doing it because it's easy. I got invited over here to have a drink one night. You want to do a podcast? Yeah, I'll do it.
Edit that out. He's never coming on here again after
That's
saying
not
that.
true.
This is why we don't do it live, or rather, why we do it offline.
We probably should. Thank you for understanding that. I
Okay,
appreciate
but anyway,
the throwback.
just hear me out. You get the fake nose.
We should do this live on
and-
Twitch. Continue.
We should. Either we do a segment where we have a controversial opinion and we have to wear the bozo, the clown nose
God, dude.
while we say our bozo take. Or another idea is we take turns with the bozo nose as a weapon. And if you say something that I think is a bozo take,
You got to put the bozo nose
you
on?
have to wear it for the
Yeah.
rest of the episode.
I mean, maybe, dude. I don't know.
What are you worried? You're wearing a Crunchwrap Supreme shirt. What are you worried about? What is he worried about?
I'm not worried about it. It's
Maybe he's worried because he has a lot of bozo takes.
I've got some spicy takes for sure. Like, I don't know. I think it could be fun. Okay, so what's your bozo take of the day?
My bozo take is I thought that the Black Panther was not a very good movie.
Interesting. My bozo take is I've never seen the Black Panther movie.
I don't know if that's a bozo take.
Okay. I mean, the first Mortal Kombat film was good, objectively.
All right, so at the end here, we want to wrap things up.
Yep.
You have any last things you want to say?
Before the outro or just in general?
Is there a difference?
You just want me to do the outro?
Well,
This is a throwback to episode 1 where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing now.
Okay, fine. Before the outro, did you have any last...
Last thoughts. Don't sleep on sports films. There's good stories to be had. There's good acting to be had. I think people tend to sleep on sports films, particularly people who aren't sports fans. And I think everybody can find enjoyment, particularly films that are more geared towards that audience. For example, Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans. These are films that even if you're not a fan of football, there's going to be something there to enjoy. And I think people often overlook these films. They are good quality pieces for what they are, and I think people should give them a chance.
Okay, well, I have something for you to give a chance.
Okay, great. This is going to be something that is not remotely serious at all.
Wanted to give a quick shout out to the Not Good podcast.
Oh my God, that's right. I almost completely forgot about this. They gave us a shout out. That's right. Not Good Podcast. Thank you guys so much. They gave us a huge shout out, which was massive. I can't believe you guys did that for us. Thank you so very much. I actually watched a couple episodes after the shout out because I didn't know what their podcast was, and it was actually good. I actually enjoyed watching it. They do a segment called Good Not Good where they rate things, films, drinks and whatever, and they basically try it, watch it, whatever, and determine if it's good or not good. And it's really fun to watch. I completely forgot about that. Thank you so much for reminding me. I almost walked right into the outro. I thought about it on the way over here, too. I was like, don't forget to shout out the Not Good Podcast guys.
I just saw the shout out yesterday. So
It's awesome.
I haven't gotten a chance to actually watch an episode, though. But
They give us way too much credit. Like, what a professional podcast.
They did.
And I'm over here bitching about, I can't wear my fucking Crunch
Yeah.
Wrap t-shirt.
and we're alcoholics, too.
Yeah,
but
drink it on the
anyway, you can
podcast.
check them out on Spotify and Twitch.
It's worth it, guys. It's really good. It's a really good show. And
Aren't you gonna do it?
do what?
Rate them?
It's good. It's good. It's good. There's no question about it. You guys, you got to check them out. I was really nervous when I watched it because I don't like being insincere, right? I'm one of those guys, like, there's too many people who are sponsored by something or they get a shout out from something and they're like, guys, you really got to try out our friends over at thiscrummytshirt.com. They make the best clothing and you get it. And it's like wearing cardboard, but this person's on YouTube or whatever.
I'm
like,
looking at it right now.
shut up. And it's just the most comfortable thing ever, and it's not. I was scared that I was going to watch it and be like, well, this is painful. And then I was going to have to get on our podcast and be like, guys, you should really just check them out. What a show. What a show. But it was fun. It was really good. I'm more than happy to return the shout out. You guys more than deserve it. Quality product. Go check them out.
I will definitely check that out tomorrow on my commute.